I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. Tis I, Mike Martins, welcoming you back to another very special and informative edition of Trends in the Housing Market. And man, what is going on out there in the markets? Well, we're gonna follow what's going on right now. The Australian markets are open right now. I usually follow the Australian markets at night to kind of predict what's going to happen with gold and oil. Bitcoin is going through the roof right now, up 21 at 21 large. Now, 2 days ago, I didn't pick up Bitcoin. I picked up a bunch of like Digicoin, Hive, a bunch of digital stocks, digital currency stocks that I was looking at, penny stocks. I picked up quite a few of them. What's today? Wednesday. I picked up quite a few of them on Monday. Bought some on Friday, picked them up on Monday, some more on Monday. And I woke up this morning to see everything is just going through the roof, and it's like, holy smokes. So we're going to get to that right now tonight on the show. We got some big news on the show tonight with a couple of digital bank going foreclosing in Australia and all kinds big impactful show for you guys watching Trends in the Housing Market. I think we're on episode, I don't even know anymore. It's past 200 and something. Welcome tonight. Welcome on this beautiful night, guys. Thanks for joining me. Okay, guys, so what do we got going on? All right. Oh, whoa, a little bit of round of applause there. Nobody freak out. Just a round of applause. Okay. All right. So let's go into a quick channel plug before we go into what is happening, where and when, and how we are being affected. Are you going to sell some Bitcoin to buy a house? Right now isn't a good time. I think it is. But the thing is, when you sell some Bitcoin, what are you going to do? You can't go to Costa Rica. You can't go anywhere. You can't really travel anywhere because everything's on lockdown. Unless you want to go to China. China's the only country that hasn't been locked down. So, anyways, let's go to a quick channel plug here, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Be part of the channel. I got 13 subscribers today. That's like the most I've ever had in like 10 years. So I got 13 subscribers today. I want to thank whoever subscribed to the channel today. Thank you for being part of it. Guys, don't forget to pick up something on Teespring. All the Mike in the Night gear here. Everything is here for you guys. We got the new Lord Humongous hoodie here. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Facebook. You can send me... someone's asking me if I'm doing trends today right now. Someone just messaged me right now. I just saw the message there. So let's paste that. Follow me on Facebook. Let me go real quick. I don't want to ignore this person. I mean, they're seeing if I'm going to start, and I'm going to go ahead and wow, I have 277 inbox messages. Wow. Okay. Mike, I can't find anything on Trends in the Housing Market tonight. I'm live right now. Yeah, people can't find me. Like, can't find my channel. Having a tough time getting a hold of me on YouTube. You know, it is what it is, guys. We're not going to get into that tonight because we have real things to talk about. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. You could send me your show tips here on Instagram, and I will get them, and I will reply to you. Talking to like 8 or 9 people yesterday, jumping between messages. For some reason, went to bed early last night, so I went into my messages, and I had like conversations going with all kinds of people from the channel. Guys, Parler's here. Parler's so good. If you guys remember the old-fashioned days of Facebook, like it used to be, and you could post anything and they wouldn't cut you down. Well, this is it. This is Parler. This is so good. I just love going on here. I don't even go on Facebook anymore. Parler is so good. I think I'm following Ralphie on here. Owen, get on this thing. It's called Parler. I just sent you a link. Get on this damn thing. This is actually, it's good. I think I'm Jem Rose and a couple other people I'm following on here. If you're on the channel, I'll follow you back. No problem, okay? And guys, don't forget to check out Art by Dano. Not your original art. So if you're looking for something cool for Christmas or something to pick up for yourself for the new year or something special for somebody, very affordable prices. Check out Art by Dano, one of our channel subsidiaries. All right, guys, here goes. Let's get into some stories tonight. I hope everyone's feeling in a good mood, feeling good tonight. So here we are in the abandoned strip club here. So let's check it out, guys. What is happening in, well, here it is. Let's go into the Australian markets right now because we got to follow what's happening with Bitcoin, right? So let's find out what's going on. So the Australian markets, here they are right now. The All Ords are up 50.30 at 6,967. That's the All Ordinaries. The Australian Stock Exchange 200 is at 6,723, up 44 points. The Australian dollar against the US is at 75 cents. That's actually a decent exchange rate for the Australian dollar. Not too bad. Oil is chugging along at 48.07, up 25 cents. Gold is up 990, pushing its way to the 1870 mark. And Bitcoin, so there it is right there. BTC is at 28,616 Australian dollars. It is up $308 since the Australian markets opened 5 hours ago or 6 hours ago. What else? Let's look at the Asian markets here. The FTSE was up 57 points at 6,570, but there's the Dow Jones. It was down 44.77. The DAX is at 13,565, up 203. The Hang Seng is the one we got to watch right here, is up 77 points at 26,000. The Nikkei 225 is up right now, 26,789, up 32.33 points. All right, so what is happening? Well, here it is. There's the articles all over the world, all over the place. Articles everywhere. On Bitcoin, Canada CI Financial completes US 72 million IPO of Bitcoin fund. So, guys, earlier I was trying to tell you guys in the comments before the show took off that I bought a lot of Bitcoin, like digital currency funds or digital currency stocks or financials. I bought a whole bunch of them on Friday. Then on Monday morning, I picked up a few more because I saw everybody was going into the whole Bitcoin market. You could tell on the stock market when you look at those digital currencies, ETFs. You can kind of follow the ETFs and kind of get a little bit of understanding on where the digital currency is headed. So there it is. Bitcoin tops 20 large, breaking the price milestone for the largest digital asset. Bitcoin surpasses 20 large for the first time amid dizzying rally. Bitcoin breaks 20K US for the first time. Here it is. Bitcoin rally. These two blockchain stocks are soaring. So that's what I did. I bought a bunch of blockchain stocks, a lot of penny ones too, and they're just going through the roof. I was looking at that. I talked to somebody about it last week. He's like, Mike, you got to get into this now before Bitcoin hits 20 large. Even Low Roller Scratcher kept saying it. On Mike in the night, he kept saying, Mike, Bitcoin. I said, okay, let me look at it from the stock market end on it. Let me look at some ETFs. Let me look at some digital financial currency stocks or whatever, like that provide software or provide hardware or whatever they do. Like, I don't even care. I don't even read the description. I just buy a couple of penny stocks and go from there, you know what I'm saying? So, we got Owen in the house. We got Linny Poo. We got Mitch Madden in the house. We got Ralphie in the house. We always got Low Roller Scratcher. Always promoting Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin just below 22,000 pesos. Maybe 220,000 pesos, depending on which country you're in. But that is right there. I wanted to, so here it is, the United States dollar. So now if you're living in Canada, let's go into close article scan here for you guys to see this. Now let's look at the United States. Let's look at Canada. So if you're living in Canada, I have a few friends that have been holding on to cryptos for years. Canada. Where's Canada on this thing? Canada, Beirut. Okay, Canada. 27 large. $27,615.42 Canadian for one Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, if you got it at the right time, you're doing good. All right, let's go into a very important story here, guys. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Australian digital-only bank that promised 3% on savings rate goes bust. Here's what happened to your money. Here's what happens to your money. So here's the deal with this, guys. There's a lot of banks that are trying to go completely online with no branches, right? And what they do is they try to set you up with the best interest rate when you sign up. This way, you know, you got a bit of money. It's making you money. You don't have to go into markets or risky this or risky that. but then you got banks defaulting. So here's the deal with this. So 3% savings rate. So let's say you have $1 million. They'll pay you $30,000 a year, basically. $30,000 a year on $1 million. $10 million, $300,000 a year. And $1 billion, they'll pay you $300 million, basically $30 million. Yeah, I'm just going way too high there. But $1 million will pay you $30 large a year on 3%. Some people might look at that and say, you know what, it's not as risky as getting into some of these risky markets we're in right now. And that's it. So Xinjiang announced on Wednesday that they would stop ceasing as a bank. Wow. The Australian digital-only bank blamed a year of marked by COVID. Xinjia said there's an ample time to transfer funds before accounts shut. So they're giving people time to get their money out, which is really nice. Which is nice, because the last thing you need is people rioting on the streets for some imaginary bank that doesn't have a location or existence, right? They probably have a head office somewhere. Australian digital bank Xinjia has announced it will discontinue savings transaction accounts. Xinjia blamed the COVID pandemic as increasingly difficult capital raising environment for the decision. Following a review of the market in Australia, Xinjia has decided to withdraw the bank account stash, savings accounts, and cease being a bank, they said on Wednesday. So there it is, man. If you got one of these accounts, man, you got to pull your money out right now. So, oh, look at Celine Dion. She looks so nice there. Okay, let's go here. Under the terms of product, Xinjia is giving its customers a required 7-day notice before closing the stash account and will be encouraging them to transfer any funds out of the bank accounts as soon as possible. The Australian Prudential Regulatory Authority is closely monitoring Xinjiang's return of deposits. Xinjia hopes to refocus the business in other areas such as U.S. share trading, product dabble. Yeah! So at least they're giving people time, but this is just the beginning. So I know that in China, they bailed out a ton of banks that were like doing really bad. There was a lot of banks in China that were bought out on the federal level. A lot of banks. Low Roller Scratch is saying, I bet a lot of banks will be offering crypto next year. The bank will pay you 6% interest rates if you buy Bitcoin. That's my prediction, Mike Martins. So here's the deal. Like, I mean, they're paying 6%, right? Then the problem with that, here's the problem with that, them offering you that kind of money. Then I'm just going to go, I'm going to go buy $2 million in crypto, even if it's $50,000 or $100,000 of crypto. Because if they're going to be paying me 6% VIG on $1 million, that's 60 large a year. Who cares about what crypto? It's just the fact that you're making off of that, right? So I don't think they would do that high. I don't think they would go out of their way to put rates that high on returns. So we got Ralphie.co New Zealand in the comments. We got Wade the Scrapper in the comments. We got Amy Burr. Thank God you're here, Amy. We got everybody here tonight. Lenny Pooh's in the house. Scotty in the house. THJ in the house. Mitch in the house. J Balt, 50 in the house. J Bolt saying, I closed my Facebook. I've never been happier. Yeah. All right. So that's what's going on there. So banks losing it. Let's head off to Canada real quick. Toronto's Real Estate Board requests a laundry list of exemptions from vacancy tax. Now, if you were living under a rock until now, well, they're going to put the vacancy tax on empty homes. Paris, France did it 4 years ago at like 60%, like a vacant home tax. From the Better Dwelling article that we read, it was 6%. Like let me just look this up because I don't want to look like an idiot saying it wrong. I just want to make sure I get this right. 60% tax. Okay, I got it right. I'm sorry. Let me just put this over here. So, vacant homes are a global epidemic, and Paris is fighting it with a 60% tax. That's from March 2017, and France already knew there was a major issue happening, but countries like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, they need that foreign money to keep their economies going, right? They need that money to come in from China, because it's so good, because it helps out, like, the governments, right? So, you know what I'm saying? The governments. Okay. So Toronto's real estate board requests a laundry list of exceptions. So they want to see if they could do this. Do we have to do it on students? Do we have to do it on this? Do we have to do it on that? Basically setting up loopholes for investors. And that's what happened earlier in Vancouver in 2016 into 2017 when they applied the foreign buyer's tax and they were looking at the vacant home tax. They found they just wanted to find loopholes. That's all they wanted to do. They don't give a crap about any of the laws they could put in place. They just want loopholes. So what is going on? So staff in the City of Toronto are getting ready for vacant home tax, but there's some industry concerns. Toronto Regional Real Estate Board asked the City Council members to ensure that data-driven and results-based decisions along with this request. They also shared a list of exemptions that would like to see. Here's a few of the exemptions they've requested from the City of Toronto. So there it is, vacant tax. So the rate will start at 1% of the assessed value with full details targeting. So if it's $1 million, you'd be paying $10,000. Yeah, 1%. If it's a $2 million, the average home is like $1.4 million. So if it's empty, they'd be paying $14,000 to $16,000 a year in vacant home tax. Which is better than getting zero, right? And in other countries, they would just repossess the homes and then re-auction them off to local families. That's what a real country with a backbone would actually stand up and go against this and actually fix this problem, because you're foreignly selling off our country to people who've never been in our country. They've never been. A lot of people that own these foreign assets here in the Commonwealth have never been to these countries. They just buy a property and leave it empty. So let's see who else we got here. So Jay Bolt says, I got a temporary ban for Facebook for posting. Just go on Parler, Jay Bolt. Everybody's on there. I'll follow you back. You'll see everything we're posting. Okay, here it is. Toronto's Real Estate Board requests a laundry list of exceptions. So principal residents, owners who are unable to rent the property due to market conditions, bull. Snowbirds, U.S. citizens, legal matters pertaining to court orders. That's probably one that's important. And properties undergoing renovations. No, I don't think so. They could go renovations for 10 years. Owner or other occupier undergoing medical supportive care, I could see that, no problem. If the owner is deceased and grant probated or administration pending, that's different too. Okay, so that's what they're looking here. They're looking for some exemption because this is going to hit hard. Once a lot of these foreign assets are going to be sold off, Canadians can't buy them because they don't have anywhere near enough money to buy it. So they're going to see major housing corrections, hopefully, in the next 6 months to a year, if they put this 1%. But look what France did. Watch this. They had they implemented a 7 point where was it? Runaway shortage. It comes turning lively cities into empty shells. The city of Paris has decided it had enough and implemented a tax in 2015. They didn't quite get the results they wanted, so they're now tripling it to 60%. 60%. And then all these homes in France went on the market the next day, pretty much. So let's move on here. 2 of Canada's largest banks are reducing non-branch office space. Woo! Woo! 2 of Canada's largest banks are reducing non-branch office space. The pandemic may have helped banks accelerate profitability, and not just from the real estate prices, well, kind of because of real estate prices. Earlier this month, 2 of Canada's largest bank reiterated plans to reduce office space. The pandemic forced them to send non-essential staff to work from home. Now they're finding things are working out better than expected. This may have long-term shift in real estate values post-pandemic as Canada's largest employers become more comfortable with employees working from anywhere in the country. So now here's the deal. Let me tell you a little something. You're going to hear it here first on this channel. Mark these words. You're going to have to pay a federal tax if you're working from home. You're going to pay a special federal tax on your income. If you work from home and you don't commute, you don't take the bus, you don't basically commute to work anymore, they're actually, even though you're going to be saving a lot more money because now you're not going to buy car insurance and all this other crap, guess what's going to happen? They're going to put a federal tax on you for working from home. I swear to you, they're going to do that. They're going to do like 2, 3, 4% off your pay. Because you are not, oh, but I'm more green now. I'm not creating this carbon. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not, eating lunch at work and throwing away my trash and blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the deal. You're still going to have to pay more tax because you're saving on commuting. So you're going to pay more tax, right? So I think that's going to happen. I see that happening. In Canada, 1 quadrillion % will do that. Canadian real estate prices grow at the fastest pace since 2017, but condos slow further. Again, we've been covering condo tipping or condo tipping in Toronto and Vancouver. Condos are just severely overpriced in Canada, even in Australia, Melbourne, Australia, California. I mean, all these places, basically, these liberal-driven places, governance, like all the blue states in America are in a really tough situation right now with affordability issues. Go look at it. Look at all the blue states and then look at the affordability issues in those states in America, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So here it is. Canadian real estate prices are soaring with gains accelerating into the winter. Canadian Real Estate Association data shows a big monthly jump for home prices in November. Prices are rising almost exclusively in the detached home segment. Condo apartment values have now rolled back to pre-pandemic prices. So there you go. They're rolling back. So there it is. Single family, composite up here, 643, 701 single family, and apartment condos 471. But okay, hold on. This is benchmark. Let's see if they have Vancouver. Let's see. They don't have. Damn. So you could see what's happening in Vancouver and Toronto, so you guys could see a different story, right? Here we go. Will the second lockdown cool off the red hot? So somebody was complaining. I'm not talking about. Someone came on and somebody emailed me. And they went on to say, basically, that, Mike, you were the first guy to talk about Seattle and foreign investing and blah, blah, blah on your channel years ago, and I've been following you ever since. So talk a little bit more about Seattle, and because you were on the money then and you still are today, and I was so happy to get that email. So here it is. Will a second lockdown cool off the red-hot Seattle housing market? So this is from 3 weeks ago. Let's go to today's. This is 3 weeks ago. Today. Seattle housing forecast cyclone of sales activity intensifies. So I spoke to 2 real estate agents down in Seattle, and they said basically it is foreign investing that's buying it up, corporations. Because Seattle has more corporate-owned multi-million-dollar penthouses that are corporate-owned under corporate numbers that are left empty in Seattle, and they keep blaming it on the tech workers. Honestly, they blame the tech workers for the prices going up in Seattle. They're not blaming the foreign buyers tax that they put on Vancouver in 2016 that drove up the prices in Seattle because everyone fled from Seattle, fled from Vancouver to Seattle and from Vancouver to Toronto. So there it is right there. Seattle housing forecast cyclone of sales activity increases. So there it is. Fortunately, we saw a checkmark-shaped housing market recovery in 2020, and the 2021 forecast after the 2020 holiday season, a surge of buyers will come into the market on January 1st, 2021. However, there will be a few new listings until March 2021. So here's the deal. Let me explain this to you. So now with the new mainstream media select president, not elect, mainstream media select president in America is going to drive up housing prices across America, and that's why I said America will turn into Amerifornia. In about a year and a half, you're going to start seeing like Texas and places like that becoming more and more severely unaffordable. You're going to see homeless shelters spiking in occupancy. I hope I'm dead wrong, but this is the pattern that's been happening across the Commonwealth, and it's coming to a city near you in America. So watch out. So there it is. This is happening right now. Let me find that article. So you guys could see. So I do have this video on my channel, but I kind of want to, where's the news? Here it is from years ago. See? Seattle's the new Vancouver when it comes to Chinese housing investing. There's lots of them, and there's lots of money being thrown into Seattle right now, and it's going strong. And now with this mainstream media select president, you're going to see Amerifornia come at full blast. And it's kind of sad when they're protesting on the streets, and here it is here, 2016, like I said, December. Vancouver tax pushes Chinese to $1 million Seattle homes. So 2.2 houses selling like 800,000 over asking. And yeah, that's what's happening right now. So look at the new tax. Look at Vancouver. Guys, pay attention to this. Let me go to document scan here. Pay attention. Look at this. Look at Vancouver sales and look it up here. This is Toronto and Seattle. Look how when they applied the tax in Vancouver, all the money went there. So when people say, "Oh no, it's not foreign investing that's causing this," it's been foreign investing since day one has been the issue, especially when you got billions of dollars being laundered into the shores, right? Look at all the blue states versus red states. The affordable red states in America, majority of red states are still affordable. All the blue states are out of reach. Everything's out of reach that's blue. And Amerifornia is coming. So boom bust. Here's what Seattle housing market looked like in 2020. So there it is. In January, inventory was down 43%. And trend continued into February. And multiple sales. COVID-19 comes in. Some sales come to a halt. And then now things are bustling and hustling. So drier demand caused supply issues. And top housing markets to watch. Now, I kind of want to cover this with you guys living in the United States. Kind of important. Top housing markets to watch in 2021. So here it is. So if you're living in America, Boise, Idaho. The capital of Idaho has experienced big growth population and its home values in recent years. So here it is. So population was from 209 to 234. And Boise went up to 379 from 216. Wow. So a Boise value rose 50,000 from 329,000 in October. Wow. So 50,000. So people are gobbling up. What did I say? Housing prices in America will go up 40 to 100%. Middle America. Middle. Not California, not New York. Those places are abandoned, lost cases, lost hopes. They're done. So there it is. Boise, Idaho. Tacoma, Washington. Tacoma is but one of several cities in Washington state that made the list of top housing markets to watch in 2021. Again, it's close to the Canadian border. And no, Tacoma, is it? Is Tacoma? Or is it Blaine? But it doesn't matter. So here it is. Houses went from 335 to 384 from as of October 2020. So 35,384 from last October to this October. But let me tell you why. Because everyone's leaving Seattle because they can't afford to live in Seattle, so they commute. Killen, Texas. I never even heard of Killen, Texas till now, but it's going to be a booming place. Population has grown from 128 to 153. And homes, last October, 47.2% of homes sold were off the market within 2 weeks. Later, it was 66.5% of homes sold off the market in 2 weeks. So here it is. People are picking up in these cheaper areas. I don't even know where Killen, Texas is. Okay, Spokane, Washington, again. Eastern Washington State. So housing went from 249 to 284 in October 2020. Cleveland, Ohio, another place. So 40% of homeowners in October 2020, more than 40% of homeowners sold and off the market within 2 weeks. Buffalo, New York. So people are leaving New York City. So where are they going? They're going into inner New York. Buffalo. I call it Barfalo. So meanwhile, 145,000 for a house, and it rose 11% to 161,000 October 2020. So $145,000. You cross the border into Niagara Falls, Canada, where all the people are leaving Toronto and moving to wherever they can. $800,000 for a home. And the same home in Barfalo is $145,000. And that's how Canada's getting shafted real good. Seattle, Washington is they still predict Seattle, Washington. So they see housing going up 10.6%. Solid 10.6%, reaching 783,000 as of October 2020. Housing is just going to keep going up at Washington State. They're just going to keep going up. Indianapolis, Indiana. Again, another place to look at where 65% of homes were sold off the market in 2 weeks. We're on and off the market in 2 weeks. As a result, Indianapolis housing inventory is down a lot from 6,315 homes available in October 2019 to 3,247 homes in October. Stockton, California, See, values went up more than 50%. Population went up. And 66.3% of homes were sold off the market within 2 weeks. While October in 2019, that figure was 37.3%. So in October 2020, 66.3% of homes were off the market within 2 weeks. Bridgeport, Connecticut. Here's another place here. So these are all cities outside of the big cities. So $202,000. And they're looking at housing. So people in Canada or Australia listening to, wow, $202,000 for a home. Oh my God, a piece of garbage that if you slam the door too hard, the roof would fall in, is $1.5 million where I live, right? Grand Rapids, Michigan. So from last year, the average home was $180,000 and to $201,000 in October 2020 as home value has risen. So have the number of homes sold from 1,464 in October 2019 to 1,658 in October 2020 on Grand Rapids metro area. 70% of the homes sold were off the market within 2 weeks. So there it is. Richmond, Virginia, another state capital going on fire. Look at that. Sacramento, California, California's capital, has been the site of major population growth over the last 10 years, rising from 467,000 people to 521,000 in 2020. Again, they're all leaving LA County and places like that. Clarksville, Tennessee. Clarksville is going to get hit hard. You're going to see population has risen 23.2%, and with 292 home sales in 2015. Imagine being a real estate agent in Clarksville, Tennessee, and the whole city only sold 292 homes in 2015. Well, you better get a part-time job or something. So there it is right there. Now, there's only 932 homes available, and they're selling faster in 2020 to prior years. Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, the housing market has a lot of potential going into 2021. The market sold within 2 weeks of going on the market 48.3% in October in 2020. This share has grown 71.6% of homes sold going off the market within 2 weeks. So that's what's happening down south in the United States of America. So these are the homes or the cities you want to look at, and that's why these markets are going to go crazy, because housing affordability in the, I guess I'll just call them in the blue states, are completely out of reach. There's some blue states in here mentioned, but they're out of the cities. Some of them are in the capitals, but again, those are red states, right? So take a look at that closer if you'd like, and let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. All right. So they even predicting cities that have housing that's already too high. They're already predicting cities that have housing that's already astronomical prices already to go up. This is a major issue, because if the middle class can get into any market, it's going to be tough in the United States, because Canada's been suffering with this problem for 10 years now, and it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going in Canada. We're reading there $202,000 for a house, and it's going to go up 10%. It's like, holy crap. For housing like that to be in Canada, like we'll never see it. I would gladly pay American prices in American dollars in Canada. Because whenever I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, look at this house in Florida for $190,000. Well, but that's American. Okay, $190,000, $220,000 Canadian. Oh, well, still, that's $190,000 American. Okay, $220 Canadian. Yeah, but that's American. It's like, you can't talk to people here. It's like, yeah, Yeah. You could sell all those American houses. You still can't buy a tear down in Vancouver. You could sell 20 homes in Michigan. You still couldn't put a down payment in a house in Vancouver. Oh, that's America. We got Cesar Toma in the house saying, multiple national authorities have described OneCoin, which pitched itself as the next Bitcoin, as a Ponzi scheme. Thanks for the heads up. Ralphie.co New Zealand said, if it crashes, though, it'll be just buy more BTC anyway at the lower rate, bound to rebound. Remember, flat is based on faith too. Fiat is based on faith too. Fiat. He didn't say faith. He said faith. Fiat is based on faith too. Okay, we got Craig Cook. Don't forget to check out his and Cesar Toma is saying, SEC agency also issued a warning to investors about the potential for Ponzi scheme involving Bitcoin and other kinds of virtual tenders. So that's happening. So yeah, I could see them like creating like a fake front. And creating some sort of Ponzi scheme of thinking you own something with a digital wallet. I could see that all happening. I could see a lot of people getting duped. And I'm not talking about BitConnect. I'm talking about like Mickey Mousing and creating like some sort of Bitcoin. It looks like Bitcoin for people that don't know. Oh, I want to buy some Bitcoin. It's going up. So they go and they could put a whole front of a website that looks like Bitcoin. They could set something up, like all this, like front. You go into it, you click, you download your digital wallet, you actually go through the ropes like you think you're doing it, but it's a fake front. I can see that happening. Think of it like a credit card or a debit skimmer on top of a credit card machine. You know, a credit card, you go to a credit card machine, right? Or a debit machine or ATM machine or one of those machines that dispense. Think of it as like a skimmer up top. So it skims your card every time you put it in. Think of it like that for crypto. Like they create these fake fronts. But they're necessarily not with cards, but they could be like a back digital look like it. You know what I'm saying? So we got Amy Burr in the house. We got... So Cesar is saying how a 26-year-old college dropout makes $15 large a month with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency without breaking the sweat. Lost Canuck in the house. All right, guys, let's head off to Sydney real quick here. Sydney's Darling Point records highest median home value for 2020 amid luxury home sales market recovery. So I don't know how these people, they just came out of a big lockdown in Victoria and other places. I don't know how these people are. So let's look at the median value. Let's go into document scan here. I kind of want to show this to you guys on, so you guys don't think I'm not. So here's Darling Point, Sydney eastern suburbs. Median value for a home, $7 million. Now, we could find a median home in that area, and we could find the same home in West Palm Beach, Florida, for probably $350,000. Don't make me do it because I can, with the same square footage. Bellevue Hill, $5.7 million. Vaucluse, $5.3 million. Double Bay, $4 million. Now, you're probably wondering, like, who the hell is buying all this? It's foreign investors are jumping on the more expensive properties because this way they don't have to buy multiple properties. They could just buy one property, and if it's laundered money, dirty, whatever the question is, whatever it is, the money is easy. It's easier to put $7 million into a house that's realistically worth probably $800,000. Realistically worth. Like, I'm just putting this out there. Realistically, bang for the buck. $7 million. What is that? 6.2 million or 6.1 million US? Nobody, like, oh, Mike, all these investors from all over the world. It's not China. Trust me, A lot of Chinese want to get their money off their shores. A lot of Chinese want to park their money into something. They don't know where to park their money in. So what do? They just buy real estate and leave it empty. And if I had $10 million and I needed to get it offshore, I'll go to this place right now, Darling Point, and I'll buy myself a house for $7 million because then I already put $7 million into the system. Hey, maybe I sell it for $5 million. It goes down. That's okay. I still clear at $5 million in an Australian bank account. No questions asked. So think of it like this, guys. People are saying, Mike, how are people in lockdown and all this company shutdowns and all that? No, this is not Australian people buying these properties. These aren't our Australian citizens. This is investors buying this property. It's the best way. This is the best way to get your money offshore and to park it in another country. You know, even like a plastic surgeon that owns his own business couldn't afford one of these homes with the cost of living in Australia. So you think of the top job you could get, the top highest paying job, you still couldn't afford to live the high life in the Western countries anymore. You know what I'm saying? So let's move on. Let's go back to the article scan here. All right, let's move on. Lend-Lease to buy back up to 841 homes at sinking Jordan Springs East Side in Sydney. Okay, so another Leaning Tower of Sydney, the Opal Tower, all these things. So there's sinking homes. At least they're buying back 841 homes, which is nice. How come in Australia? I got a question, guys. If anyone down in Australia could answer this for me. In Canada, when, let's say, a company, a building company in Canada, they build, let's say, 1,000 homes. They build 1,000 homes on contract, and then they go bankrupt the next week, and then they file for bankruptcy. So this way, when something happens to the home, they can't go after the builder anymore. So this is kind of interesting how a company is going to go buy and back homes that are sinking. Because usually when that happens, the company goes bankrupt before this stuff happens, and the company is non-existent anymore, right? So I'm kind of interested how that, property giant Lend-Lease will offer to repair or buy back 841 homes in Western Sydney estate built on a landfill and dubbed the sinking suburb. The company maintains that only 90 of the homes it constructed in the Jordan Springs East are actually damaged or affected by structural issues. That's very interesting. I've never seen this happen. Usually in Canada, you're screwed. It's on you. Insurance companies, you know what insurance companies tell you when you call them? Hey, my house is sinking. That's your fault for buying it. We're insuring your house because it's law. Because it's mandatory. We insure your house because it's mandatory for you to pay us. Like car insurance. It's mandatory. Before car insurance and house insurance became mandatory, nobody had it. It was dirt cheap. So here it is, guys. So I kind of wanted to throw that out. I'm just surprised that they're buying back homes. I'm shocked. Like, I would have thought the company would have gone bankrupt. Like, not because of this, but I would have figured the company would have gone bankrupt after they're done their contracts. They would just go bankrupt, and then you can't chase anybody anymore, right? So that's what I thought would have happened. So this is from Australia. Again, why first-time homebuyers should invest in outer suburbs and how buying near a school will be key to making your profit in your property. So again, Australia keeps pumping real estate and housing as a commodity. They're not looking at it as a like an asset that you need, like an important asset to raise families. It's more about business. Where do I buy my property? Should I buy a school? Can I make more money? No one's looking at the actual dollars and cents of things and actually doing things the way they, I don't know. It's all about money now. It's all about money. Government house built U-turn makes it harder to deliver 300,000 homes. Again, affordable housing. Government U-turn plans to increase house building in the Troy heartlands will make it harder to hit a target building of 3,000 new homes. So we talked about this already. Kiwi Builds, remember that in New Zealand where they were going to have homes. Kiwi Build's going to build 1 million homes or 100,000. I can't even remember what it was for New Zealand families, and they didn't build nothing. I think they built 8 homes. More families trapped in temporary accommodation in England. This is a major deal. Like, the people in England are living in this disaster. 15,000 homeless people in emergency accommodation, such as hotels, student flats, and bed and breakfast since March. Wow. I don't know. And New Zealand. New Zealanders must accept the need for house price falls. So this is it. This is the great leader of New Zealand here saying something to the people. She's saying hi.
I think there is good cause for us to look at the way our supermarkets are working in New Zealand. We do have a heavy concentration amongst a couple of big players, and that in our mind is good cause for us to...
What's wrong with your teeth?
To look at whether or not New Zealand is being treated fairly.
Let me see this here. Article scan here.
The authority has found that the National Party's wealth tax ad in the last week or so of the campaign was misleading. Do you agree?
Oh, well, look, certainly we had concerns, and I raised them during the campaign around the way some policies were being treated by...
What about housing?
In home ownership, but that deposit is a hurdle, which is why we are continuing to look at products that may assist with that, like progressive home ownership.
So that's a major issue. If the government's going to get into helping people like first-time home buyer loans, in America it's different. First-time home buyer loans in America is a grant. If you stay in the home for 4 or 5 years, you don't pay it back. In Canada, you pay it back with VIG. If you don't know what the word VIG means, VIG, look it up.
That deposit is a hurdle, which is why we are continuing to look at products that may assist with that.
Stop with these products. Create better jobs so people can make the money they want and buy what they want.
Progressive home ownership.
So will you do anything on the demand side, or are you purely looking at supply?
Well, look, we have to keep in mind on the demand side, we have a significant reduction, obviously, in the population growth we usually experience in New Zealand by as a consequence of our border closures.
People can't afford to have kids.
And so, look, some of the official data around that, still firming up, but it's fair to say that a bit of pressure has naturally come off there.
Demand is going to ease, though. I mean, all of the predictions are it's actually going to get worse.
And yet, the predictions just several months ago were a collapse of the housing market. Yes, we are concerned about what's happening with house prices, but it's not fair to say that there is simply one contributing factor, which is why we're looking at a range of options to help.
Yep. Oh, that's the news out of New Zealand. It's just New Zealanders must accept the need for house prices to fall. Well, the New Zealander could never own his own property. I mean, even if the kids, if kids started working at the age of 1, they'd be losing the game. They'd be losing they'd be losing already 3-0 at the start of their life. They're already down 3 goals. So it's really hard to get in. Even recession can't cool New Zealand's red hot housing market. Even a recession. Home buyers are taking advantage of this historical low interest rates. You keep giving away free money, you're going to see a surge in sales. You're going to see a surge in borrowing. You're going to see more and more people taking on more debt. Okay, we got Ralphie calling in. Yo, what's up, Ralphie?
Hey, Mikey. Merry Christmas.
Well, Christmas is still a ways away. We'll probably have you on a few more times before. How are you?
Oh, only a couple of days. Yeah, no, good. I'm just watching your show as usual and seeing Miss Jacinda on the video screen there with her lovely products.
Isn't that your great leader?
Well, I don't know. I see the government as a very badly run business, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, have you heard the New Zealand government spending $1.8 million on the new masks advertising campaigns because it's coming to summer now in New Zealand, so they're spending that much on that. And recently we had damage on the Harbour Bridge, so $10 million on that. I mean, they're just running the credit card up,
Hey, have they had a case in New Zealand, and that's all one COVID case in New Zealand, and that's all the news is focusing on?
It is very focused on cases at the moment.
Yeah, that's all they focus on. They don't talk about anything. That's the problem.
Well, housing's not a priority. But, Mikey, so talking about housing, I've noticed a trend in New Zealand where a lot of investors are actually selling off their rentals.
Okay.
The reason why is because the typical rental yield in New Zealand is about 3%. you can put that same amount on either the stock market or on crypto and earn 5% and not have to deal with tenants.
That's true. That's true. Well, that's
So,
why a lot of when the foreign investors buy properties in these countries, they just leave them empty so they don't have to deal with tenants. That's why they're putting this vacant home tax.
Well, a lot of rentals are being offloaded.
Right, rentals, because those are locals that own those rentals. The ones that they keep empty are foreigners. Foreigners just leave them empty. They don't care if they're occupied or not, right?
Have you seen the documentary The History 101 on Netflix?
No. Should I?
Yeah, there's an episode on there called The Rise of China, and I actually took little snippets and put it on my BitChute.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to ralphie.co.nz and just find my BitChute page,
Mm-hmm.
I took little snippets of the documentary because it really does explain the rise of China in recent years. It's quite scary.
Yes, it is.
I don't know who's president in America because I've just kind of stopped following.
No. We're gonna have to. No. We're gonna have to address this properly, if that's okay. It's mainstream media select Joe Biden. It's not Congress. It's not it's mainstream media select Joe Biden.
Do you know why?
Tell us.
Because Joe Biden is in bed with Wall Street,
Of course.
and Wall Street is very in bed with China.
Oh yes. Yes.
So a lot of the Chinese leaders have found a loophole in American democracy by putting their influence in Wall Street and buying out a lot of Wall Street heads. So that's why there will be a push for Biden.
Oh, there's definitely a push. We had somebody in the comments that hit it right on the head earlier. Somebody in the comment section hit it right on the head. Housing is going to skyrocket in America now with the Biden select mainstream media select presidency. Basically, yeah. You're going to see housing skyrocket in middle America, and you're going to see, like I just read, I don't know if you were watching the show, with top 10 places in America to look at for housing for 2021. It's going to go crazy, man.
Well, say goodbye to your democracy, because we've seen what the latest US elections have done with the rigged voting. But say goodbye to your democracy, because we're coming to a new age of basically communism again.
So who was the odd man out? You had Jacinta Ardern in New Zealand. You had Scotty Morrison in Australia. You had, what's that guy, Boris Johnson in England, right? Then you had Justin Trudeau in Canada. Those were all four of the same people, like in the same party, same everything, same projection, same this, same economy on housing. And the only odd man out was Donald Trump, was the odd man out of that group. He was the one that was different from all of them. And then now they want Biden, and then that will put five liberals in the Commonwealth in power right now.
If you watch that documentary on Netflix, History 101,
Mm-hmm.
it will explain everything what's happening right now, because and this relates back to housing, because there's a mass land grab at the moment. They're using the China is using checks, not swords. So they're buying up a lot of they're building a lot of infrastructure around Asia, around Africa, and the Commonwealth.
Oh, they've been buying up Africa for years. I made a documentary 3 years ago. Called Africa for Sale.
Well, remember, Mikey, in 1949, and what's his name, Mao in China?
Mao Zedong, yeah.
Yeah. So he was the communist leader, and his belief was everyone is to share the wealth, and that collective community will be represented by the state.
Mm-hmm.
Their goal was China was to be self-sufficient in finance, food, and goods, so that there are no more stock exchanges or diplomatic or economic relations with the capital West. But you see, that was their goal in 1949. Fast forward to 2020, they found a loophole in US democracy
Mm-hmm.
by basically buying out Wall Street, because Wall Street, if you just have a look at that documentary, History 101.
I will. I haven't written. I wrote it down here. I'll look at it when I go to bed tonight. I promise.
go to my website, ralphie.co.nz. There's a BitChute link on the bottom left.
Just give me the BitChute link in the Skype chat, and I'll put it in our chat here.
Okay, I'll send it to you in a couple now. But yeah, just put that link through because that explains everything with housing, with just the fall of democracy, basically.
Oh, by the way, I didn't get a chance to thank you last week, but thanks for the song, by the way.
Oh, no worries, mate. I love being part of the community, and so yeah, it's really awesome. It's a win-win.
Yeah. So if you ever want to do one for a song for trends in the housing market, let me know.
Nice. Okay, I'll put on my creative cap and see what I can come up with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents. A lot of rental yields are being offloaded in New Zealand at the moment. I follow listings all the time.
I know you do.
So I can report back to the Mike Martin show.
Hey, can you do me a favor? Yep. Do you have a pen on you?
Yes.
Can you write something?
Not at the moment. Oh, actually, I do have a pen, yep.
I want you to write something down. So if you're going to make a Trends in the Housing Market intro song, I want it to sound like the group is called Blinky and the Roadmasters.
Yep.
And the song is called Caroline.
Okay.
Blinky and the Roadmasters. The song is called Caroline. It's on YouTube. I want it to sound like that kind of... you'll hear it and you'll be like, oh my God, Mike, this is so cool.
Okay, I'll have a listen to that song and see what I can come up with.
It's very creative, that song. You got to hear it. So
love it. Well, thank you for the feedback and comments on the Mike and the Night theme song.
Oh, that song is great, man. And he sent me a short clip. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start the show 5 minutes earlier than usual and let it play out the whole 5 minutes till people roll into the comments and until the show starts building up.
Well, I sent you a short, digestible version as well because I've been listening to a lot of there was some comments on the chat saying that it reminded them of feel-good 90s music. Mm-hmm. And so I referred back to like the Friends TV theme, mm-hmm. and a lot of those themes are a minute and a half. So I sent you a short version as well as an alternative if you want to maybe play that as the intro and then the full song as an outro. It's up to you though, brother.
Are you and Craig going to make an album soon?
Craig and I, we're working on his. He is new to music, but he's a great songwriter. But we're working this year and next year on his music as well. So stay tuned.
Because I heard through the grapevine you have an album coming out called More Than Words. So that's going to be good. More Than Words is a good name for an album because it's obviously more than words. So that's good.
Hey man, well, music is just a part of the holy trinity that I talk about, which is the 3 E's. Mm-hmm. There's educate, enlighten, and entertain. So, got to have a bit of fun while you educate and enlighten, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Now, loving the show. I'd love to hear new callers call in. So...
Yeah, get somebody to call in to the show. A lot of people are shy, but that's okay. We'll get some people into the show and see. Well, make sure you call in on 2021 predictions, last Mike and the Night of the year.
I'll see what I'm up to, Mike.
10 minutes. Everyone's going to get 10 minutes to call in and give us their predictions for 2021. So take some notes on what you think is going to happen in 2021.
If I'm not there live, I'm always watching replays, bro. So,
all right, Ralphie.
Yeah, love what you do. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. Love to hear from new callers if they can call in.
God bless you.
Okay, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye. So that is our man Ralphie down under in New Zealand, giving us an update on what's happening down under. I mean, do they call New Zealand down under too? They call Australia down under. I think New Zealand southeast of Australia. I think it would be, wouldn't it? Sure. Okay, we got. Let me see who we could get here on the show. Let's see if Stephen Thomas. I heard he got a he's back at work. I don't know what his deal is. So let's see if he picks up. He's in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia.
The person whom you're trying to reach.
I like how it says it in British when you call with that accent. So there it is right there. Let me see if who else I could get on here. Who wants to come on the show? Who wants to come on tonight? Who wants to make a call? Who wants to be part of the show Anybody out there want to be part? Just message me, add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980. Mike Martins 1980. Mike Martins 1980. If you want to come on the show, we're into our second hour. So let's go ahead and make some calls, guys. If you guys want to call in, please call. Be part of the channel, please. And let's go to... Let's just do a quick channel plug here. We're 1 hour in. Guys, don't forget to follow me on YouTube. Please just subscribe to the channel if you can. Be part of it. Come on our live shows. Guys, I'm going to give you the up-and-coming Mike in the Night Show COVID passports. Guys, apparently there's rumor. So now, guys, this is just rumor. I don't want anyone to freak out. But if you want to get your driver's license or you want to continue driving, you need to get the vaccine. If you want to continue driving your car, if you want to be on the road, you need to get vaccinated. So that's what's happening with that. Guys, don't forget to shop Teespring. Pick up something from the Mike Martins channel if you could. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Facebook. Like, no one ever sees anything I post on here anyway. I don't even know why. But if you guys want to, go ahead, follow me on Facebook. Go ahead. Message me on there if you'd like. Guys, don't forget, Instagram is better for me because people actually see my stuff on Instagram. I'm following people I've never followed before. I keep getting people that I'm following. And I'm like, who are these people? So, Parler. Get on Parler right now. Parler is what Facebook is what Facebook was at the beginning. There it is right there. Look at that. Look at that. This is what Facebook used to be back in the day, where people just posted what they felt like. There it is right there. Look at all that. Linny Poo's on here too. Don't forget to follow her too. And guys, don't forget to check out our friend Art by Dano. Dano, use what is it? Code word Mike in the Night. Art by Dano. There it is right there. Check him out. Not your typical art. Very affordable. Very affordable. Check him out. And I promise you, you won't be disappointed. All original, handmade, cool stuff. Art by Dano. Print starting from, look at this, $19. Nice print. Glossy, good paper. I have lots of it around my home. All right, guys. What is everybody up to out there? Let's get some callers in. Come on, guys. So we got Ripley saying Parler. Woo! Gary, let's see if we can get, you know what? Let's see if we can get Steve back in. I know Steve's been very busy with what's going on with a lot of foreclosure properties. Maybe he could give us a little update. Let's see if Steve picks up. No pickup. He's probably listening to us wherever he's at. He's always listening to us regardless. If he's driving his truck, usually has us on Bluetooth at work for people to listen to. Okay, so who do we got here? Who could talk? We already got someone from New Zealand in. We tried to get Buddy in from Australia. Who do we have down in the United States that could call us, that could talk to us and give us an intro on what's happening down south of the border here? Okay, looks like I have other calls coming in here. People, like this is from Mike in the Night. I'm just looking at some old ones here. But I'm not getting too much. Oh, there is Gary Medij. Let's see. I know Gary's watching. Let's say hi to Gary and see if he's doing okay, you know? If he hasn't, what his deal is. And oh, his Skype is off too. Oh, there he goes. Let's see what Gary can tell us today about what's happening in the markets. What else we got here? Yeah, the Lord Humongous is in the comments too. Yo, Gary, you there?
I'm here, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. What are you up to, man?
Nothing much. Same old.
Yeah. So, are you guys in lockdown there in Ontario, or is it just like semi-lockdown? Is everyone still working? What's going on there?
Well, Toronto, Peel, and York Region are in a lockdown right now. Some other areas are in a red zone, basically, but for the most part, it's just Toronto, Peel, and York region, and
So,
the lockdowns don't seem to be working because our cases are going up by the day. I think we've passed 2,000 now, so
ooh, ooh,
a day
I
here.
want.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to find out how they test all these people and get the results back within 3 minutes. But
yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know how that works, but I
but you
think they
know
just
what,
process
Gary? On a
tests
good
every
note,
day. So
housing is still going up.
yeah, I don't know what to say about housing no more.
Yeah, I know. You're out. You're totally out of words when it comes to trying to figure out the housing market. And Gary, here we've been trying for years to try to crack this nut and find out what is happening. And I think that last article I took a look at is nothing will stop New Zealand's red hot housing market. I think Canada's the same thing. Like, to be honest with you, I even if half the country fell into the water, housing will still go up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's not Canadians buying it. I remember that. I still believe it's a lot of foreign buying, right? That's what I think's going on.
Well, how are Canadians going to buy it if they're in another lockdown and they got no money?
Yeah, I don't know. I heard that Ontario may go possibly in a 2-week lockdown after the holidays. I'm not sure if that's happening. It's something that's being talked about, apparently. Ford has to make the decision. But it looks like Toronto may hit a 2-week lockdown in the new year. A full lockdown.
Wow. This is very interesting because the country of origin where this came from never had a second wave, and haven't had a single case for like 8 months now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's more to this coronavirus than we think. But,
I know.
There's obviously a lot more stuff going on behind the scenes. We just don't know what it is. I just think there's a lot more going on.
Have you bought any Bitcoin
Even
recently?
Toronto, I think Toronto almost had 800 cases, just Toronto alone. So.
Oh, listen to this. I was driving home and they were talking about housing prices in the city north of me. Is called Kamloops. It's about 50 miles from me. It's a bigger city than Mary. It's like 40, 50, 60,000 people. I don't know, but it's quite a few more people than where I live. It's a bigger city, right? And they were saying that housing prices are at the highest they've ever been in sales during a lockdown when no one's working. And then, hold on, then followed by that, they said, we have another coronavirus, COVID death here in our city of Kamloops. And they said that a lady of 107 years old died of COVID.
Well.
107 years old. And it's like, why would they even announce, why would they say something like that?
I don't know.
So I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm astonished. Like, I'm not astonished, but I just can't believe where things are headed, and everything's being allowed to do this, or it's being allowed to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to say. I don't know. A lot of interesting things have been happening lately. I don't know if you saw, there was a video the other day, or what's her name? The finance minister, the new finance minister. I forgot her name.
We covered that on Mike in the Night. That's correct. We covered that video of her saying, we got to go Canadians' bank accounts and get them to spend that money in sectors that we need it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a scary thing. I mean, the fact that she's actually saying that on live TV, like, that's, people who save their money and all that stuff, now all of a sudden they're like desperate for it to, like, go after people's savings accounts just to get the economy going again.
Yep, that's called.
So it just proves how bad things really are if they're basically saying that we need people's savings in order to start the economy, right? I mean, it just shows how bad things are. But for some reason, the housing market seems to be the only thing going.
Guys, here is a link to the last week's show that what Gary is referring to. You'll find here. Let me go to article scan. That's last week's show on Mike in the Night, and we had callers calling in about that. Let me see if I can get that lady on the video. No, that's Ralphie. The lady is right here. The finance minister of Canada is right here. There she is, right there, and she's talking about. So this is from Mike in the Night last Saturday. We want your money, bank balance. So go ahead and check it out after this show if you want to check into last week's. Last Saturday's Mike in the Night. We were talking about this. This is very important. Now, Gary, let me ask you a question. Sure. I don't know if you know this, but the federal government is looking for a long-form income tax return now. And what long-form means is they want to ask you how much gold do you have in your house, how much precious metals, assets, vehicles, how much this you have, how much that you have, how much this, so they could tax you on it. So they want to create a long-form income tax form return.
I haven't heard such thing, but I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, they want to make back all this money that they've given out, right? So at the end of the day, they're going to do what they can. And if that's one of the things they're going to do, then I guess that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, they call it long form. It's they got rid of the long form income tax like a long time ago because they were asking you stupid questions and there was pages and pages long.
Yeah.
And then the government will assess what tax bracket or where you could be put. I guess mathematically speaking, I guess would make sense.
Right.
So long form is not good because if you have savings and if you have more than I think it's $8,000 in a savings account, they want you to declare that.
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard such thing, but I mean, again, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, they're gonna make this money back somehow. I don't know if you heard, but the carbon tax is increasing.
Oh, it is. I have my bill here. Hold on. I have a bill here. My carbon tax for my house is more money than my gas. My gas was $63. Okay, my gas was $63. Okay, Gary.
Yeah.
Then I had to pay transportation, reserve, this, that, Mickey Mouse. I had to pay $300 in other stuff on top of the gas, and then my carbon tax was like $94.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I mean, it went up according to what my understanding was. It went up 30%. I could be wrong on that. I'm not 100% sure, but it's going up 30%. I mean, that's like gas, like your heating at home, all that stuff. I mean, it's all going up, right? I mean, inflation went up. I don't know if you saw the inflation today, but inflation surpassed what their expectations were. So inflation is now at 1%. I think if we hit the 2% threshold or past 2%, they're raising rates. Not gonna have much of a choice, right? To get to stabilize that, right? So I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting next few months to see what's going on in housing and everything else in between, I guess.
Yeah, but you know what, Gary? In all fairness, I asked this question to you. I've asked this question to, was it in Martin North in Australia? I've asked this question to Jeb Smith in California. I've asked this question to a lot of people about housing. And my question is, and it's been the same question in the McChronicle, has foreign investing bought enough of our market up that even if the Canadian proper or Australian proper or New Zealand proper default, it wouldn't make a difference because there's so much of us has been sold out already that it wouldn't even make a difference if we default?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know.
Because that's important, Gary, because if we default and then other entities come and buy us up on pennies to the dollar, we're completely out of our own market, completely. And that's what's happening in New Zealand right now. Because in New Zealand, right now, the situation there is it's turning into a nation of renters. And the New Zealand proper, they just can't afford to put two in. Like, they're having a really tough time making ends meet with these lockdowns and all this Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Not Ontario, apparently. Ontario seems to be on fire even with these lockdowns. So I don't know. Even the housing market seems to be moving in these lockdown zones. So I don't know. There's something more to the story. I mean, like I said, it's not Canadians buying these homes. That's for sure. It's definitely foreigners, in my opinion.
Well, look at Australia. The second last article I read before I got you on the phone. They're buying $7 million properties. Okay, you look at you know what? Me and you, Gary, we know what a $7 million property in Australia is. It's like a $300,000 house in Florida. But in all fairness, they're buying this for $7 million because you could just transfer $7 million and put it into another economy overnight, literally.
Pretty much.
Yeah, this way. Let's say you had $7 million you need to launder, and you're gonna go buy homes in Alabama. You're gonna have to buy like 70, 80 homes to launder that money. Where you go to Australia, you buy one house for $7 million. Who cares if it's only worth $300,000? You know what I mean, Gary?
Oh, I hear you.
And that's what's happening in Ontario. Oh, I got $2 million. I'm gonna go buy a house in Oakville, Ontario. Sight unseen, no inspection. $2 million. Overbid it. I don't care. Boom! I just cleared $2 million in Oakville, Ontario, and I don't have to go to Alabama and buy 25 homes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Did you hear, Mike, as well today that they approved the city of Toronto's for a vacant home tax?
Yes. Did you watch the beginning of the show when we were talking about
No,
that?
I didn't catch the beginning.
Okay.
I came on for a bit. I had to go do something, and then I came back on.
Okay, because we were covering that, and then we were discussing on Better Dwelling, the same guy who wrote the same article. We're discussing about how France did the vacant home tax, and it didn't work out, so they pumped it up to 60%. I'm not lying. You could look it up at the beginning of the show. You could look at the article. 60%.
You should see the backlash that's already begun because of that. I mean, the realtors are pissed. You got a lot of landlords complaining online about it already in Toronto, so it's already caused a ruckus in Toronto with the landlords and the realtors. The realtors
That's
are all
1%.
Yeah.
That's 1%. 1% on $1 million is the average home was $1.4 million, right? You're at 1%, Vig, you're looking at 15, 16, 17,000 a year at 1% value.
Yeah.
So that's going to hit a lot of people. They're going to have to raise taxes. Oh, but it's just a rental property. I need this. Or a rental property that's left empty should not be left empty, right? So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch Madden says, my BF died and left me a lifetime supply of toilet paper. Yeah, he's just joking around.
I bet.
So, yeah, 60% says Ripley. Okay, Ripley, I'm going to put it back up just for you because I know it sounds like I know it sounds like I'm making this up. I'm not. Here it is. Article scan. Here it is. Let me go on full article scan. Vacant home prices are global epidemic and Paris is fighting it with a 60% tax. And it goes right here. The city of Paris has decided it had enough and implemented a tax in 2015. They did not quite get the results they wanted, so now they're tripling it to 60%. 60%. So according to this old article, Toronto has 99,236 homes that are not hooked up to the grid, the electric, water, that have no bills going to it, basically. 99,236 that are not on grid, Gary.
Yeah.
And look at New York City, 300,000, 308,000.
Even New York right now is in trouble. So as far
they
as
have empty
their
towers.
market's screwed up.
Dude, did you hear? There was one guy in Shanghai that bought 2 complete towers, condo towers in New York City and left them all empty towers. And I read an article, I think it was last week, the week before Mike in the Night, like not this week, but the week before and the week before, like 3 weeks ago, we were covering the empty towers in New York, and a lot of them are just owned by people who have never been to America.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they're empty.
Yeah, no, I don't get that. And I mean, you know what's good? There's a lot more of that going on in Toronto that people think, or in all of Canada, really, for that matter.
Do you think, but again, I'm going to re-ask you this question. Do you think there's enough foreign investing in Canada that if the average Canadian defaulted, it wouldn't make a difference anyway?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I believe there's a lot of foreign buying here that's happened. I mean, I'm going to say it's possible. Hopefully it's not true, but...
if this is true, then this is pretty bad, right?
Oh, yeah.
So New York City right now, this is from 3 years ago, this article. New York City has 308,000 empty units, and this is not connected to the grid. 308,000. Multiply that by 3 people per dwelling. That's almost 1 million. That's 369. That's 900,000 people that are displaced in New York.
Yeah.
So, that's. And Los Angeles is in second place with 213,000. This is just Los Angeles, Gary. This is not LA County. This is not Alameda County. This is not Orange County. This is just Los Angeles, 213,000. This is New York City, 308,000. This is not New York State, like Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse. This is New York City, 308,000. That's a lot of displaced people in one city.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Like I said, I don't know. We're Canada's becoming. Canada's no longer Canada anymore. I mean, the way they're bending the rules and letting all these foreigners come in and take over, and the Canadians have no chance to buy. It's I don't know. And this country is not what it used to be. That's for sure.
It's kind of funny, Gary, how they let in all the Portuguese back in the 70s and 80s. Our families came from Portugal, whatever, came to Canada, built up the infrastructure. My dad worked his life building the infrastructure for this country. And now they deported a ton of Portuguese people in 2007 and 2008. Tens of thousands of families deported, a mass purging of Portuguese families. And then now it's like the infrastructure's built. Get the hell out of our country now.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, when our parents came here, I mean, things are very different. I mean, they came in and everyone came in with no money basically, and they were allowed in. They contributed to the economy, whether it's infrastructure or whatever in between. And they did what they had to do. And but you know what? The dollar back then was worth more than it is today, in my opinion. I mean, people paid off their mortgages in 5-10 years, right? I mean, and interest was like 18%, right? But people paid off their mortgages, right? I mean, could you imagine? I mean, but the money and it was hard back then. In spite of it sounding so easy, it was very hard back then for parents and people who came in at that time, right? I mean, it was very hard, but they made it work, and they worked hard, and they managed to pay off the mortgages quick, and now they're reaping the rewards.
You know
Now
what?
it's
Like
homes at over $1,000,000.
Gary, I still remember my dad telling me in Portuguese. He'd say, "Epa, no Canadá, eu pagava 17% juros e paguei a casa em 2 anos." My dad would
Yeah.
say that. I pay 18% interest and I pay it off in 2 years.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, and
yeah. It's
yeah, it's gotten to that point, Gary, and it's gonna
you know what?
happen.
I wish we were back. Honestly, I wish things would go back to that time as far as the way finances were. Like, I mean, I you know what, interest rates, well, maybe not at 18%, but I mean, just so people understand what life really was like. I mean, you know, interest rates are low now and debt's through the roof, and people have a hard time paying off stuff. And back then it was even harder, where interest rates are at 18% and people paid it off like it was nothing.
Well,
But again, there
because-
was no debt at that time.
Well, you didn't
right?
want to
So-
carry 18% VIG, right? 18% VIG on $1 million. That's $180,000 a year.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of now on $1 million you're paying like $10,000 at 0 point whatever percent it's at.
Yeah, it's a joke. Like, I mean, you know, they want people to be in debt, which is pretty much, you know, the banks want that to happen. You know, I mean, I don't know when, you know, like, you know, at one time I used to think a correction was coming. I'm not saying it's not coming, but I mean, it's kind of getting harder and harder to see with the way things are. I mean, they keep propping up this thing no matter what. Even with the pandemic going on, they're propping up this market like it's nothing, keeping Canadians out and foreigners, you know, to buy these homes. It's like, you know, I don't know what this government's thinking. I mean, they're putting, you know, people outside the country before, you know, first before their own country. So I don't know.
Well, they're competing for rich investors. It's not just Canada, Gary. Australia's on the hook for this too. So is New Zealand. So is the United Kingdom. I think the only conservative parties right now in the UK still is in Northern Ireland and Belfast, where housing is stabilized and it's not going crazy, and they have laws there to protect their people. And I think Scotland. No, Scotland's actually Edinburgh, Scotland's out of control right now, actually, with bidding wars right now. And so is Montreal. Montreal, Canada is still seeing bidding wars today, Gary, with the lockdown.
Yeah, I know. And it's crazy. Like I said, it just proof that foreigners are buying these homes, not people during the lockdown. That's for sure.
Well, the bank, walk into the bank. Hi, I've been on lockdown. I don't have a job, and I can't guarantee going back to my job. Can you finance me a home for $1.7 million? There's no way the bank's going to do it.
No, of course not.
So,
of course not.
So I don't see the bank doing it. I don't see the bank taking that's, you know, but unless they give them some crazy interest rate.
I personally think the only way to fix this market, honestly, is to I think rates should go up to 6-7%.
They have to.
It's the only way this market's going to get fixed.
6-7% is very very generous. 6-7%. Because remember during Reaganomics back in 1980, look at what gold went from in January till April, May. Look at the price of gold back in 1980 January all the way to like mid 1980. See where it was. Interest rates. That's when interest rates when they had to save the country. They had to save the country, so they raised interest rates to 12, 13, 14% in America.
Well, that's what we need to do here, but I don't know. I don't see Trudeau doing that. Like I said, he caters to foreigners before he caters to his own country. So, you know. At least Trump may have been messed up, but you know what? One thing's for sure, he put the country first compared to Trudeau, right?
Oh, 100%. Now, with the media, let me be correct here, okay, Gary? The mainstream media select president, Joe Biden, okay? Mm-hmm. You got Jacinta Ardern in New Zealand, who's the same as Trudeau. You have Trudeau in Canada. You have Boris Johnson in England, and then you got Scotty Morrison. They're all now the same. The only odd man out was Donald Trump, was the only one out of this circle. Now with Joe Biden, they're back in bed together, and that's it.
Yeah.
So affordability in the United States will cease to exist by the end of 2021.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna let. I mean, government hopefully won't let that happen. But again, I don't know. I mean, you know,
you mean in
I've
America?
been on the sidelines for a long time. I've been on the sidelines for a long time, so hopefully something gives. So,
well, something will have to give somewhere somehow, because as we die off, the next generation now is already accepting. Well, the next generation. Well, the next generation is already accepting that they can't afford a car and they can't afford a house. That's only for rich people, and we have to rent for the rest of our lives. So as we die off, the golden age that you talked about, Gary, in the 80s and the early 80s, that golden age you talked about when our parents came to Canada to build up the infrastructure, that golden age, the next generation won't know anything about it. So they won't know that Canada at one point, it wasn't, you could bag groceries at a grocery store making minimum wage and pay off a mortgage if you really wanted to in the 80s.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. Like I said, I mean, I just know that the way things are in this country, like everyone owes too much money, man. Like the debt in this country is unbelievable. Not just the country's debt, which is another thing too, because our country's debt's going through the roof. We got a government that's willing to give out money to everybody. No questions asked, basically. You know what, $2,000 a month or whatever the case may be. I mean, who's gonna go to work making $2,000 a month? And if you're a couple, a married couple, and you each get $2,000, that's $4,000 a month, right? Who's gonna want to go to work? These guys are gonna want to work anymore. You get paid $2,000, you get paid $2,000 each just to stay home. I mean, oh yeah, there's COVID going on, I can't go to work. People are milking the system, right? I mean, it's, at the end of the day, it's a form of welfare, right? You're on a form of welfare at the end of the day when it comes. And people don't realize that. I mean, actually, Steve the plumber is the one who told me that. And it was kind of the way he put it was actually perfect. I mean, that's what it is. We're in a state of welfare right now. These people are getting this kind of money, right? So it's interesting. I don't know. Like I said, it's we live in interesting times. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's definitely going to be a wild ride next few months.
It is. But now there's these vicious rumors going around. These are vicious rumors. We're going to be doing Mike in the Night. I hope you could join us for that on Mike in the Night. We're going to be doing the COVID passport, where there's already a couple of countries that are saying you need to get vaccination or to come into our country.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not doing the vaccine. They can do whatever they want. I'm not doing that. I don't care about leaving the country. I can stay in the country for all I care. I'm not taking that vaccine.
Okay.
You don't rush out a vaccine after 7-8 months and expect people to take it. I mean,
but here's the deal. Hold on, Gary. There's a vicious rumor going around, and this was told to me by someone that's in a chamber of commerce in Canada. I'm not going to mention which one, but they told me that they're thinking of, in their province, if you want to renew your driver's license or continue driving, you need to get vaccinated.
Well, I don't know. I don't think you can force people to take this vaccine. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't make someone do that. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what this government's plan is. I mean, there's already, doubts about this whole thing. I mean, there was a video released the other day about the doctors of Ontario talking nonsense when the mics were on. I don't know if you saw that video.
I saw that. I think, was it you that sent it, or I couldn't remember?
I don't think it was me, but it could have been me. I don't remember. But
yeah, it said, I don't even read these papers. Why the hell they keep giving us all these papers?
So there's obviously something going on here that we don't know, right? I mean, if these, and you're pushing something here. There's a hidden agenda here. The question is what? I don't know. A lot of people are talking about a great reset. I know a lot of people are saying they're going to wipe out everybody's debt, and you start from. But that's if you take the vaccine. I think that they'll wipe out everybody's debt and you start clean. Like, I mean, there's so many rumors going on what's going on with this. So
I heard rumors that if you don't own any, like let's say you have no debt and you own your stuff, they'll take that away from you if you don't take the vaccine.
Well, that I haven't heard.
Yeah.
But,
so there's lots floating around, lots of speculation going on there, right? So it's just speculation right now. But now that they're doing these forced shutdowns and people are complying, then I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, Portugal, our home country, that the court of law, I don't know if you watched Mike in the Night last month, but the courts there in Lisbon actually passed a law that it's unlawful to put anyone on lockdown.
Yeah, I read the article.
Huh?
I read that article.
Yeah, it's unconstitutional, and the whole 9 yards through the courts and through the high Supreme Courts of Lisbon, and that's it. All their tests that they got were false positives, nothing added to nothing. And I had a friend message me who was in the Algarve, and he told me it's like there's nothing happening there. It's like business as usual. No, hospitals are empty. Everybody's on vacation. People riding bicycles. People on the boardwalk there in Sagres, and beautiful weather. And he's like, no, it's like there's nothing here. It's like you go into Canada. It's like you're going into some dark ages and lockdown and this and that, and masks everywhere. It's crazy.
Another thing, if this is really what the country looks like, Canada, people coming in and see this, how are these homes being sold to foreigners? If they're coming in, seeing that we're locked down, seeing that things aren't good, and they're still buying our homes. So that's another thing. Like, what if the country tanks? Like, I mean, and these people bought all these homes, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, something doesn't add up here too, right? I mean, if these foreigners know what's going on and they're still buying these homes, if the country can crash or whatever the situation may be, I mean, and they're still buying these homes, I mean, what's their end game? Like, what? They're going to lose their money too. So, there's a lot of, crap going on that we don't know.
Yeah, it's like buying a boat during hurricane season, and there's a hurricane 3 days away, and you're buying a boat and you have nowhere to store it. It's got to stay in the water. It's exactly what you're saying. Exactly what you said. So the hurricane's coming. If your boat's parked, but it's not in storage. So what do you do, right? And so I don't know.
Yeah.
But like you said, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's there's a lot more going on than people realize. I mean, there's an agenda here. I just don't know what it is. As far as the housing market goes, I mean, like I said, I mean, I'll give credit where credit's due. It survived this pandemic, or it's surviving for now anyway. I mean, I thought something was gonna, even the deferrals, I guess a lot of them didn't, go. A lot of them resumed, and didn't. A lot of them kept going with their payments. So even that, like, I mean, it did. At least right now, it's not showing that anything happened there. But I don't know. Maybe next year we'll start seeing the effects of that. I'm not sure, but I don't know. Like I said, the housing market seems to be surviving this. And
Papa Piss said, hold on. Papa Piss said, not many things in that boat. Most spend $4,000 on booze, gambling, weed, coke, and car payments. What about food, insurance, taxes, gas? Average cost of living for a family of 4 in Canada is $5,200 a month.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know where all this money's coming from. I mean, now all of a sudden, the country's on welfare, right? So with all this CERB payments or whatever. So, I mean, when you deferred your mortgage, I mean, at the end of the day, that's $2,000 or whatever the mortgage was, you didn't have to pay for 6 months, right? So that money technically was saved, supposedly. If you were, if people were smart, they would have used that money to pay off whatever debt they had.
Okay.
But who knows what they did.
Let's look at the other side of the coin, Gary. Let's look at the other side. We haven't talked about this, I mean, between me and you. What about property taxes skyrocketing?
Yeah, well, that's another thing that everything's gonna go up, Mike. It's just a
property
matter
taxes
of time.
are going nuts. They're now in Vancouver. They even want to raise it even more after they proposed. They proposed this. They want this. They want that.
Well,
they're proposing even more.
Yeah, they got to make the money back, Mike. That's all it is. You're going to see taxes go through the roof. Food's already going up like crazy. Property tax in Toronto is probably going to rise pretty soon, just because of what's going on. A lot of people are leaving Toronto or have left Toronto because you don't need to work. You don't have to live in Toronto to work. But pretty soon that's going to change, because a lot of employers are not going to be able to, are not going to accept people working from home. They're going to want people to come to work. So these people who moved out of Toronto thinking they can work from home are going to have a serious awakening pretty soon.
That's going to drive up prices around little towns. Like, where do you go for affordability? So if you're in the city of Toronto, you have to go to affordability. Niagara Falls, I heard, is now out of reach. So is Windsor's becoming out of reach. So you're looking at, like, what, Wawa, Ontario, or Woodstock, Ontario?
Yeah, maybe Woodstock, but who knows? Maybe that's gone up too. I mean, everything outside of the GTA or GTA has gone up big time. Actually, MHC already said that they're in a dangerous bubble today. So, because so many people left Toronto thinking they can work from home, and like I said, when these people get called back to work and have to drive back to Toronto every day, that's going to be interesting. So a lot of people are probably, if not already, regretting the fact that they moved out of Toronto. So,
well, look at the bright side. You still have to pay the carbon tax on the gasoline you buy when you commute to work.
Yeah, that's another thing too. So good luck with that.
So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. The beginning of when we started trends in the housing market like 4 years ago, we were talking about, let's get housing affordable. Let's flatten that curve for housing so the average wage earners could get in. Now the average wage earners are looking and saying, you know what? With interest rates could be going up, who knows? And with property taxes going up and this lockdown, I don't think I want to own anything right now. I think it's safer not to own anything right now and have a little bit of money put aside just in case of, for a serious emergency if you have to leave the country, right?
Which is what I'm doing. I'm definitely not buying anything right now. I mean, in the new year, I don't know what's going to happen, but if I buy anything, it's going to be next year. And if I buy, and
if you don't, at least you have enough to get out of the country if there's an emergency.
Yeah, I guess so.
Most people don't have like two nickels to rub together if there's an emergency. They don't have $400 to get them a bus ticket to go to another town if they have to.
That's true. Everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. It's unbelievable, and it's the banks that want that to happen, right? So, because the banks want you to be in debt, right? I mean, the people who aren't in debt, they smear upon those people for some reason, but they want people in debt, and the country, the government, they want people in debt. They want people to just spend, rack up the credit cards, this and that, just to get the economy moving, so to speak.
It's kind of funny, Gary, that you bring that up, because I don't know if you remember, this is like a year ago, I was reading the article we were reading an article on the show about how governments are urging young people to take on more debt, that debt for younger generations, they're more used to it, and debt is a good thing, and younger generations love debt, and older generations don't like being put in debt. It's kind of funny, a year later after reading that article, how you're right about this, Gary, how governments are basically telling people that it's okay to go into debt. Money's cheap right now. Interest rates are low. It's okay,
Yeah, it's basically what they're telling people. Yeah,
It's scary.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, but that's what they're doing. It is scary. It's very scary.
It is, because they're trying to transition us into what we shouldn't be doing. Always. They're always transitioning us into, oh, take on more debt. Oh, do this. Get another credit card in the mail. Do that. Do this. It's like, come on, really?
Well, like I said, they want people to, there's people on the brink, like even with everything going on, especially people are still at home and stuff. There's so many people still unemployed. I don't think people realize that. There's still so many people unemployed who and the CERB ended. So I don't know if people are still getting whatever they're getting, but,
Okay, let's talk about March. Springtime, March. You're going to have a lot in 2021 in March in Canada, all across the Commonwealth. You're going to have a lot of mortgages in March, April, and May come up for renewal. What the heck is going to happen if they can't provide income in March of next year on a property they own that's up for renewal? What are they going to do, Gary?
I don't know, but that's actually a good point. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think that far, where mortgages being renewed during a lockdown. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, well, March is going to be the renewal season, because usually people buy in spring, usually. So
Yeah.
March, April, May is going to be a very interesting three months in Canada and other countries where we have, the winter and spring but Australia, that's summer, right? The end of their summer.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if we're going to be in lockdown at that time, but yeah, you're right. Income verification might be interesting at that time, because if people aren't working or whatever the case may be, yeah, that should be interesting. People can't continue their mortgages, but the banks, I don't know. The banks are criminals, so they'll probably find a way to get these people to keep going. Right, so I don't know, but the bank, like I said, wants you to be in debt. But that's a good point. I mean, if people aren't working and aren't making that income, yeah, that's true. Renewals should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to next March to see what they do about this, because I'm very interested to see their plan. Like like no one in their financial team of these governments, they don't ask these questions we're asking here on the show. You know what I'm saying? No one looks at this stuff.
I don't know, everybody in the government for me are a bunch of criminals anyway. Trudeau being the biggest one. That guy is a China lover, in my opinion. So, So he caters everything. He caters mostly to them than anybody else. So it's interesting, really. But that's, I don't know.
The Australian and the New Zealand governments, it's in the same boat too, Gary, and the UK government.
I understand that. But I don't really follow them too much. I mean, I focus more here, but yeah, I mean, everyone catering to China. Like I said, I think personally, I think they want to take over the world. I really do. I mean, they're everywhere.
No, there's no doubt.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I just mean they're like they've infiltrated like all these countries. And
gold mines, silver mines, coal mines. They bought up most of Africa. They bought up parts of Portuguese Africa.
They want to be number one. They want to knock the U.S. out and be the number one economy. Period. That's what I think they want. That's why they're putting people, or they're infiltrating all these countries and trying to, buying all their housing and whatever else they're doing, and trying, because I personally think they want to be the number one powerhouse in the world. They want to knock down the U.S. in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Gary, it's been a great 33 minutes talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's been a while, so I'm glad you called me.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. I like your input and questions, and a lot of good stuff. So hang in there. We'll talk to you soon. And Gary, if you can, I know Mike in the Night's a little bit late. Sometimes it might be late for you guys there. But if you could call in on the last Mike in the Night of the year, we're going to be doing 2020 predictions. So if you want to call in for 10 minutes and give us your predictions for 2020 on anything, on either climate change, on housing, on income, whatever, it doesn't matter, anything.
Yeah, sounds good, Mike.
All right, you take care, Gary.
All right, you too.
God bless. Bye.
Thanks.
That is my man, Gary. My man, Gary. So there's quite a bit going on, guys. There's a lot of bit going on. A lot of bit. Guys, let me see if I have the right thing here. Guys, check out the, is that it? Yeah, there it is. Guys, don't forget to check out last week's Mike in the Night with Balins. They're coming for your money. Last week's Mike in the Night. Please, watch last week's show. It's worth the time. It really is worth the time. We had, I think, the Raven on. We had, I think, Blunt News came on. We had quite a few good guests on that day, and it was really good. 33 minutes, Illuminati confirmed, says Amy Bird. Layla, I'm saying if we can't shut down the world, they can implement a one world currency. Of course they can. They can do anything. 2021 is going to be the year of years. 2020 is the worst year of I think within living history of probably one of the oldest people on earth. This could probably be one of the worst years. Okay. And, Lord Humongous saying last mic of the night was 3 hours and 33 minutes and 33 seconds. Yep, that's a code. That's a code for, whatchamacallit. Man, I got my belt on too tight. Just let me breathe here for a second, guys. I'm there talking to Gary, and I'm like, what's hurting my stomach? It's like, it's my belt. I have it on notched on too tight. Okay, I can breathe now. Woo. Okay. Someone's saying, Mayan calendar, 2021, 2012. Papa pissing, UN. Lots of people wearing masks and people reporting those who aren't. Today, I think someone was giving me a hard time in my own store because I took off my mask to have my lunch. And they're like, you better be eating your lunch next time with your mask on. I'm like, how do you expect me to do that? Owen saying Mike is slowly taking it off for us. Someone saying, Mike, check RippleNet. RippleNet, the best system. Gary Madero's in the comments, guys. Don't forget to check. Oh, yeah, hold on. Ralphie. Ralphie gave me a BitChute. Guys, check out Ralphie's BitChute here. There's Ralphie there. Check him out, please. Okay, sorry about that, Ralphie. I totally forgot. I was kind of in the wind there for a second. Let me see if Steve the plumber answers the phone, because apparently he has something he needs to tell us in great respect to what is happening. Pick up. Oh, he's not answering. I hope he didn't get arrested again. All right, let's see if we could get... someone told me to call the Raven because he has some very interesting angles. But I know what he's going to talk about. So I want to have him on Mike in the Night because we kind of stay on topic. But because, this is a big deal. Like, we're in a big deal situation right now, this world. I don't even know... And it all stems to housing affordability. It all starts with housing affordability, the homelessness, the cutback in jobs, the this, the that. Everything. If you build a pyramid, and right at the bottom of the pyramid, the first piece of foundation that's crumbling is housing. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't understand that in the crash of 29. Was it Black Thursday or Black Friday? A lot of people don't understand that a majority of that wasn't the stock market crashed, but a majority of people did not know that the housing market crashed with it, and the housing market was actually the first domino to fall to cause Black Friday. A lot of people didn't know that it was housing that was the culprit behind Black Friday. Look it up. You'll see where housing was at that time, where housing was completely out of reach then too, back in 1929. Lenny Poo too is going to come on. She says she's going to make some time to come on Mike in the Night to talk about the COVID passports. Now, guys, this is just a rumor. And you know what happens when a rumor, it gets circulated enough, it becomes fact. And that's what they hope we do, circulate the rumor enough so that it actually happens. And that's what I'm afraid of, talking about certain things. That to renew your driver's license or to renew or something, you need to get the vax. And that's concerning. This is very concerning. So we got Kia in the house. Finally made it. Nicholas in the house. Lord Humongous is always here. All right, guys. Let's see if we can get somebody else on the show. All right, let's go to... So this is last week's Mike of the Night. I'm going to leave a link for last week's Mike of the Night. They want your money. Let's go to article scan. Guys, please watch this after this show tonight, please. This is actually a really good Mike in the Night. Guys, don't forget to follow me on... don't forget to buy something on Teespring. Guys, we're on Parler. Parler's the best. Parler tells you what it is. So Parler is like a new Twitter, new Facebook, new... It's great. Go on Parler. Be part of the show. Don't forget to check out Art by Dano. Not your typical art. Really affordable stuff. Great gift ideas. All kinds of cool stuff. And he does painting on commission. So if you want to do a job or a project you've been working on or something to do with the family, contact him, Art by Dano. This guy's the best when it comes to that kind of stuff. That's all done by him here. All right, let's go back to the articles we went through tonight. Let's do a recap of what we talked about. So here it is. So markets in Australia are going to be closing in 1 hour and 17 minutes. Let's go back to the gold is up $10 right now in the Australian markets. The All Ords is up 6,967, up 50.30. The ASX is up. ASX 200 is at 6,723, up 44. Australian to US dollars at 75 cents. Oil is up 25 cents at 48.07. Gold is up almost $10 at 18.69, pushing towards that 18.70 mark. Bitcoin is still at 28,549 Australian dollars. That's like 21,000 American. And then we got the CMC Crypto 200 is up 42 points at 418.31. And let's just see where the Dow closed 44 points down. The Hang Seng is up 77.79 right now in Hong Kong. And the Nikkei 225 in Japan is up 32.33 points at 26,789. So markets are not getting hit too hard. So here it is. Bitcoin just smashed through 20K. Bitcoin tops 20 large, breakthrough price milestone for the largest digital asset. Bitcoin surpasses 20 large US for the first time, dizzying rally. Bitcoin breaks 20 large. It's all over the news. Here's why Bitcoin surged. 2020 surge is different from 2017 highs. So yeah, lots going on. Maybe we could get blunt news next week on the show for 10 minutes, giving us an inside look. Sorry, guys. On where Bitcoin is going or where it's headed. There it is, the Bitcoin to the Canadian dollar, 27,615 Canadian to one Bitcoin to a Canadian dollar. And Australian digital-only bank that promised 3% on savings rate went bust. So again, you're going to have a lot of banks trying to go paperless and try to go 100% with no branches and giving you a better savings rate by taking the savings of not paying rent and all that stuff. And 3% savings is better than zero, especially if you don't want to invest in these volatile markets. 3% is good. On $1 million, you get 30 grand at least. You get 30 grand out of it. But there it is right there. Australian digital-only bank that promised 3% went bust. And then we got vacant homes. Oh, we're talking about the vacant home tax. Well, Paris did it 60% to get that fixed. Toronto's real estate board requests a laundry list for exemptions from vacancy tax. They're trying to do a vacancy home tax in Toronto and other big cities. And the problem is it's going to cripple a lot of locals that are in this race, this rat race. Two of Canada's largest banks are reducing non-branch office space. So they just want to start cutting their costs. Canadian real estate prices grow at the fastest pace since 2017, but condos slow. Sydney's Darling Point records the highest median home value for 2020 amid luxury homes market recovery. So $7 million. So there it is there. And these homes, again, you could buy the same home again in West Palm Beach, Florida for like 800 grand for that $7 million home in Australia. So when you think of luxury homes, don't think of it like you think like the fine China Tupper or the fine China cups and plates that they were serving on the Titanic. It's not the same. It's two different levels of bang for your buck. Where were we? Land lease to buy back 841 homes in sinking Jordan Springs on East Side. So I can't believe that this company is buying back homes that are not, they're not good homes they built. Because a lot of companies in Canada just go bankrupt. Companies in Canada go bankrupt. Builders go bankrupt after the project is done. So they don't have to go back and repair anything or do anything. So that's kind of weird. Government house, sidewinds, we did that. And this one's important. More families trapped in temporary accommodation in England. And New Zealanders must accept the need for house prices to fall. There's a great leader from...
in the Reserve Bank. Is that something that you're going to consider doing?
That seems a significant departure for a political party in New Zealand to move away from what has been long-term consensus around a separation between politicians and the Reserve Bank.
So it's a bit reckless for them to make that call?
I'd say that is concerning. There's very good reason we have those separations. Hard lessons as a country several decades ago, and we haven't forgotten those.
So that's the New Zealand Prime Minister there, Jacinta Ardern, basically having to tell what she has to say there. And again, even recession can't cool New Zealand's red-hot housing market. So any country that was open or had an open free market right now is paying for it now. You had a free market, come in and buy our housing. Well, you're paying for it now. You sold out to the highest bidders, and now the citizens are paying for it. Whether they're paying it for it in increase in taxes, increase in cost of living, increase in food, the citizens end up of the country that built the infrastructure that they can afford. Why was construction essential during the lockdown? Why was private construction, not government projects? Government projects were shut down. I'm talking about construction, private construction, condos, homes. Why was that considered essential business? Why? Because we export homes. It was essential business in Australia, New Zealand. It was essential business in the UK. It was essential business you would think that private construction companies building condos and townhomes and houses would be shut down during the lockdown to protect the workers and their families. No. Not at all. That's essential because we need to sell homes to people from China. We need to sell ourselves out. And that's what happened. So, comments rolling. Can I take my computer laptop and buy a candy bar show theme QR code? Says Lord Humongous. I'm just reading the comments here, guys. They're going by here. All business is essential. No, I understand that, SD921. I'm saying they refer to essential businesses. When they refer to essential businesses, like here, like in the province I'm in, essential business is the liquor store, the marijuana store, private construction, and all the big box stores are essential business. Small businesses, restaurants, and all that, that's not essential business according to our governments. That's what I meant to say. VWAP Day Trading say, aren't they building a SkyTrain station on Granville and Broadway? How was that essential? Haha. Yeah, that's probably construction. But you got to remember, a lot of the construction's private. It's private companies that get contracted those. It's not city workers, right? A lot of that, it has to do with private contracted companies, right? And plus, they need the SkyTrains to work because if they want to bring in more people from China to go around and looking at the properties, they need some sort of transit to get them around. I'm being sarcastic, but yeah. Metal Gear Mark III is saying no red flags. Craig Cook in the house saying great show, Mikey. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting mic in the night. Hopefully I can get Layla on to give us an insight. COVID passports, are they going to do it? Are they going to start making it mandatory? Because there's already a few countries on board with it. And I was watching the news directly from Portugal the other day, and they are not going to be joining this entourage of this whole passport dilemma thing they want to create. So there it is, guys. I'm going to leave a link to next week's show. It's called COVID Passport Travel Boarding Pass. There it is right there for Mike in the Night next week. Don't forget to set your reminders, and you guys are welcome to come on the channel early or before we start, and the chat room is going crazy before we start. Usually 40 minutes or an hour before we start, the chat room is going nuts. So I could join you guys in there before we start while I'm setting up the show for you guys. Metal Gear Mark III says, I told you BTC, BCDC golds will still have value in the future. Yeah, you mentioned it like in the last 4 years, like 1,000 times. Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm not doubting that gold has value. I know gold right now. Okay, let's look at silver. Let's look at the price of silver. I believe right now at what the price of gold is at, silver should be at least $130. It should be at 130, give or take, like a few bucks. Should be sitting at $130 an ounce. That's what silver should be at, realistically. But we're not living in realistic times. They're suppressing the price of gold for years. Why do you think I shorted gold 5 months ago? I already knew it was going to happen. Why do you think I bought airline stocks 4 months ago? Because I already knew it was going to happen. And by the way, I made a video for each of those topics I just said. Yeah, Papa Pissed is saying right here. Papa Pissed is saying right now. Your driver's license will require a vax. We have a big fight coming up, folks. Yeah, I'm not making this up. This is going around. This is what the politicians want us to do. They want us to create the conversation about it, so then when it happens, they'll be like, whoa, what? You just heard about this now? So that is the issue that we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. Like what you know, I bought myself a nice car to drive around in the summertime. You know, I'm 42 years old. I'm enjoying, you know, my later, I guess I'm past middle age. I'm getting old, and my kids are growing up, and I'm enjoying life as much as I can. And then they're going to tell me, no, you can't drive your summer car, or you have to walk to work now. If you don't take the vax, you're not getting your license, right? So, or you won't be able to use your, like, oh God, I don't know. They're going to get us somehow, and I don't know what to do anymore, guys. I don't know what to do or how to put words to it anymore. Yeah, Metal Gear Mark III, you can buy crypto index stock. I bought tons. Last Friday, I picked up a lot of crypto stock, like those stock, like Digicoin and Hive, all this weird crap. I just picked up tons of it, like pennies for pennies. I think Hive was more expensive. And then Monday came, I bought some more. And then I got out of the whole mushroom phenomena that was going on. I'm not even going to explain that to you guys. But there was this mushroom phenomena going on, and I was part of it. No, I wasn't consuming any of it, but I'm saying with the stocks. And then I kind of sold that out and got more into the whole crypto stuff. So I woke up this morning and I was like, holy crap. But then what good is it if I can't even drive my car anymore? What good is it if I can't travel? What good is doing well when you can't, you know? Anyways, guys. So Metal Gear Mark III says, I ain't worried about things I have no control over. Papa Piss says, electric scooters will be the only summer driving option coming soon. Yeah. And that's why I moved to a small town. I could walk to work every day. I could walk. It's like a 30-minute walk. Like literally door to door, 25 minutes max. 25 minutes max. That's if I'm like stopping and talking to people and stopping, picking my nose and going and stopping and looking around. And that's 25 minutes max. That's like really, really like walking slow. So I don't know what's going to happen, man. Blunt news in the house. Bob Smithers says, Mike, you could buy another vet for... No, I'm not buying no vet for the wife. She got the minivan and she's happy with that. Lord Humongous brings up a good point. A fool knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. That's true. Laurel Scratcher saying, Mike, you buying sports cards since it is going up? I have tons of sports cards. Tons. Remember, I own a game store. I used to sell hockey cards like crazy, man. Landon is saying Biden and Trudeau both mentioned the dark winter. Yep. Go to the beginning of the show, Landon. Rewind back to the beginning. We were talking about that earlier in the show. So yeah, the Blunt News likes my background. It's an abandoned strip club, so it's kind of like shut down right now. Yep. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I really look forward to reading your comments. And guys, Mike in the Night this Saturday. I really, really look forward to I'm just reading somebody here. Somebody made $80,000 profit on a one-bedroom condo in 2 years near Windsor, Ontario. Yeah. All right, guys. It's 2 hours now. Guys, I really appreciate you guys being part of the show and being part of the channel. And I really appreciate you guys sticking around this long. And if you're just tuning in, rewind the show. Don't forget to set your reminders this Saturday for Mike in the Night. We're going to really get into it this Saturday. And I really hope you guys bring your game in. And I hope we have a lot of colors on this Saturday. Looking very forward to this. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, guys, take care. And if you can't take care,